robot start my podcast, man.
My name's Philip, and this is going to be a yarn about me and my pal, Marlo. About the day we got out of the shelter and went off into the post-nuclear world, where we both dreamed of becoming private eyes, just like the ones we'd read about.
You think the world's changed much? Nah.
A burst of light in air, and seconds later, we'll be up there. It's not so strange, and if we stick together, we'll stay sane. Guilty pleasures, standing just outside my door. Drastic measures, things that I never done before.
Out of the vehicle! Fuck face before I fucking blow your fucking brains all over the fucking car!
I wanna live without doubt. Pass this through and hang it out. I will take that long route. If it turns up, there me on the out and out.
What's your head trip?
We're private eyes, Rusty. Couple of big-time dicks.
You're sure a big dick, all right.
Thanks.
Man, this movie, I'll admit some of it's a blur. You might have to help me through this review. It's one big radioactive dream. Bad joke. Okay.
Yeah. Is it real? Is it real? Is it a dream? I don't know.
Why did you make me watch this, Anthony?
Jordan, to really understand movies, you have to stare into the dark abyss of film and survive.
Oh, who you quoting? Nietzsche? Now?
I know.
Did he say that about cinema?
He said that about Radioactive Dreams.
This is a movie that will stare back if you stare too long at it.
Maybe we'll figure that out by the end of this podcast.
Oy vey. All right. All right. Should I kick us off here?
Okay. Kick us off away.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to our podcast. The robots took my podcast. Or was it the mutants? I don't know. I am Jordan.
And I am Anthony.
Anthony, we seem to be talking about a movie that's very close to your heart. What movie are we talking about?
It is close to my heart, like a bullet, maybe, lodged in there. Radioactive Dreams, 1984. And we've kind of hinted at a lot of very bad movies, Jordan.
Yes.
And another one that we will maybe one day watch. Do you know the name of that one?
Another post-apocalyptic.
One of the worst movies ever made, according to this podcast.
Oh, fuck. You're going to put that music on me now.
No, is it?
The time music. Damn it. Okay, what movie?
Angel, Down We Go.
Oh, but is it post-apocalyptic, that movie? I guess you could call it.
No, it's not post-apocalyptic. It's just fucking terrible.
Oh, just fucking awful. Yeah. I'm surprised it's not on the 50 worst that I watched the other night on Amazon.
Oh, really? Was this on that list?
No, surprisingly not either. I don't know who compiled that list. It is the same as the old DVD I used to have, 50 worst movies. Anyway.
I remember that. I saw this. No, don't get angry, Jordan. I saw this years ago with your now wife. You were nowhere around.
You watched this with my wife? Oh my God. I don't know what's worse, this or cheating. What the hell, man?
I know.
You did not tell me this ever.
You were not around, and we wanted to watch something, and we had no idea. And we were just, at the end of it, we just turned it off, and we just stared at each other because we were just like, what the hell was that?
Oh, geez. I did ask her last night if I was like, did Anthony make you sit through this movie ever? And she's like, oh, yeah, that one? Yeah, I remember that movie. Yeah. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, how could you forget? Well, anyway, we'll get into this and we'll see if it's as bad as I say it is. Anyway, written and directed by an Albert Pyun. I'm probably saying his name wrong.
Pyun? Is it Pun or Pyun?
Is it Pun, maybe? I don't know.
I wonder if it's Pun. I might be wrong, too. Shit, I
don't know. I guess I could have looked it up. But anyway, low-budget filmmaker, made a lot of movies for Canon.
Yes.
And also Charles Band, A Full Moon, Sword and the Sorcerer.
I have to say that he made another movie I liked that was post-apocalyptic that was better than this one. I'll say it already. Cyborg with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah.
I actually like that movie kind of. I remember actually having fond memories of that movie. That one is actually a good post-apocalyptic movie compared to this one. Anyway, sorry.
Well, I mean, this was early in his career. I think this is like his second movie, right?
Yeah. So I don't want to slam his direction too much because he had talent, I think, nevertheless.
Yeah. He also made Alien from L.A. Was that on your 50 worst movies list?
That one should be. Oh my. Starring Sir
Kathy
Kathy Ireland. Yeah.
Dame Kathy Ireland.
Her acting chops. Oh my God. Oh,
Yeah,
wow. Great acting in that movie.
The
Yeah.
Canon Captain America. He directed that.
Oh, people forget that existed even. That
Yeah.
was the one starring...
I forgot that existed.
what's his name? Red... what's his face? From...
Red Buttons from the Poseidon Adventure?
No, that would be great, though. I'm Captain America. Hey, that's the rumor.
Starring Matt Salinger.
Oh, I'm getting mixed up with... Never mind. Okay. All right. So yes, this movie, it's funny you say 1984. This movie, when I looked it up, when I Googled it, it said it was released in 86 in the U.S.
Ah, good sleuthin', Jordan.
So, but here's the thing. You're not too far off because the copyright at the end says 1984. So that makes me wonder if the movie was shelved in America, at least for a couple of years before it was put out somehow.
Aha. Good sleuthin', Jordan. You solved the mystery.
How's that for a little Marlowe?
You're a private dick, Jordan. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, I saw the same thing. So made in 84, released in 86. I think there's more to this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll get into that a little later.
Was this a movie, I wonder, where there was two different visions maybe going on, conflicting, anyway.
Yeah. One side had vision, the other was completely blind, I think. Anyway, also cinematographer was Charles Minsky, who also did Pretty Woman and a bunch of other movies. So this is his first movie.
Oh my God. How did I miss that? Yeah.
And talking about releasing, De Laurentiis Group got a hold of this and distributed it.
Yeah, even though at the credits it says Van Neer Companies presents. But the thing is, I saw that when I Googled it once again, that De Laurentiis was responsible, I think, for financing this movie.
Yeah, a lot of drug money, a lot of tax shelters, a lot went into this movie. I'm sure. I have no idea, but yeah, I could.
A lot of cocaine.
There's a lot of questions going on, but anyway, getting into the film, Jordan, it begins with a screen crawl. Right in the far future of 1986, a nuclear war broke out.
Mm-hmm.
Every nuclear missile was launched except for one. 2 keys are needed to launch the last missile. Whoever possesses the keys is the ruler of the radioactive wasteland.
Yeah.
That's a great prize, I think.
It's like Lord of the Rings all of a sudden now. He who owns the ring controls everything.
But if everything was a trailer park, anyway.
Yeah.
So, April 1st, 1986, the day time travel was invented. We get this flashback, this reverse color negative effect. And you got these 2 kids, and then their grandpa is there.
Yeah.
And who plays grandpa in this movie, Jordan?
Well, it's interesting. There's 2 grandpas. One is played by Don Murray, and the other is played by George Kennedy. Don Murray, who I know from Conquest of the Planet of the Apes as the governor.
Uh-huh.
George Kennedy, who we know from everything. Basically.
Everything.
Every movie. I mean, the cop in Earthquake, the partner in Naked Gun, even. Jeez, he's parodying himself in that movie.
We talked about him in what movie? One prior episode.
Oh, what movie did we talk about him in? Oh my God, now I forgot. My mind went blank.
Oh my God.
Here comes the music again.
Here comes the music.
Dun, 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 dun.
Well, thank you for playing, Jordan. I'm sorry. You don't get the toaster. You don't get the weekend getaway to Aruba. That was Thunderbolt and Lightfoot.
Silly me. I lost on Jeopardy, too. So
and then a movie in which he told a child, go fuck a duck, kid.
And now he's taking care of a kid in a bunker at the beginning of this movie. Great.
Exactly.
Great parenting. George Kennedy, the great Sir George Kennedy.
Yeah. And it's sort of surprising to see him in this movie. So I was just like, hey, George Kennedy, what could go wrong? This is great.
I still love him where he kind of plays a parody of himself in the Albert Brooks movie Modern Romance.
Oh, yeah.
He's got this great line, you know nothing!
Is that the one where they talk about the space floor? Like, what kind of floor is it? I don't know, space floor?
Trying to Foley the space floor. Yeah, he says, what kind of floor do you think that is? Albert Brooks asking, I don't know, space floor. And then he does it. He dubs him Redding, and he said, I think you saved the picture. Anyway, another movie. Oh, sorry. Back to this movie. I'm sorry.
So, but in this movie, they get George Kennedy for one day, and they're paying him by the line, and he's like, go fuck a duck, kid. And they're like, sorry, George, that's not the line. Well, I don't care. Space floor?
Yeah, so they dubbed him later on. Yeah, him and Don Murray, one day max, basically, I'm sure.
And then so they're going to hold up in this cave for a few weeks or whatever political issues going on. And we see the flash of this bomb. And then stock footage of a nuclear mushroom cloud.
Yes.
And then 80s synth music soundtrack kicks in, and we flash forward to the faraway year of April 1st, 2001, the day nu metal was invented, Jordan.
The future, 2001.
The future! And then the song Nightmare comes on and kicks into gear.
Nightmare, performed by Jill Jacks.
Jill Jacks.
I have no idea who she is. I just looked it up.
I had a poster of Jill Jacks on my wall when I was a kid.
She was hot, man.
She was hot, man.
You were lucky. I had one, too. I bought it at Toys R Us.
I was a 5-year-old, and I said, this Jill Jacks, this is good.
My sister had all the Jill Jacks clothing line that they sold at the mall, you know.
Yeah, it was...
You could get your Jill Jacks glamour department makeup if you wanted to, even back then.
Instead of Gem, my sister had the Jill Jacks line of dolls. It wasn't Gem for her, it was Jill Jacks.
Fuck Jim, man. Jim was trash compared to Jill Jacks, man. Jim was white trash. No, everybody loved Jill Jacks. We all know who Jill Jacks was in the 80s. Absolutely.
That's right. Anyway, Jordan, is this not the most 80s soundtrack of all time?
Yeah, the music is very Laura Branigan. It makes me wonder if the filmmakers had the same hopes and thoughts that the filmmakers of Night of the Comet and Heavenly Kid had about their soundtracks, which was like, oh, we got every band in LA that everybody loves in LA, and the whole world's going to know who they are now. Oh my God, we're going to have the biggest soundtracks in this risky business, man.
Yeah, Jill Jack's agent was like, this is it. You made it. You got on Radioactive Dreams.
You just made a movie with Dino fucking De Laurentiis, baby. You are big time, baby.
Oh, poor Jill Jacks. Anyway.
Okay, we're being mean. I'm sorry, Jill Jacks, if you're still alive.
Sorry. So anyway, flash forward years later, the kids are grown, 15 years, and then Marlowe tells Phil that he broke through. He tunneled out of the fallout shelter they've been stuck in for 15 years.
So end of movie, right? This is like Shawshank Redemption. Yes?
I know. They get out. Everything looks good. We can leave. But no, Jordan, what happens then? Right? We get this montage.
He's all excited because he found a way out, and then they finally decide to chop each other's hair off after all this time, even though their hair didn't grow that long, as long as you'd think it would have, like Rapunzel linked. No, and then they chop each other's hair off, and
they play some boogie woogie music from the 40s, right? We get some TV video titles, like cheap titles.
I guess they predicted that swing was going to come back in the 90s, maybe. And then we get the idea that they put on suits, and suddenly they're Raymond Chandler-esque. All of a sudden, we see just out of nowhere. We see that they've somehow been influenced because their names are Philip and Marlowe. But anyway, after they chop off their hair, they put on suits and they look great. And
they're really influenced in the shelter. They've been reading these pulp detective noir novels from the 40s, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's where this is coming from. Okay.
And so that's it. That's the whole thing. So that's their shtick. That's who they are. They've got zoot suits on or whatever, and fedoras and flat caps, and not zoot suits, but they've got suits on, and they think they're detectives from the 40s, basically.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So what could go wrong? What a great premise for a movie. I mean, what could go wrong, right?
What could go wrong?
I mean, Trancers did this kind of a little bit. That Charles Band movie, you brought up Charles Band. Trancers with Tim Thomerson. You know, he was kind of, but
Tim Thomerson. Don't tell me you don't remember me, because I sure as heck remember you. Sorry.
That was Ned Ryerson.
Ned Ryerson, my bad. Sorry. Anyway.
Groundhog Day. Yeah. Tim Thomerson. Phil. Don't tell me you don't remember me. I sure as heck remember you.
But you've been stuck in a bunker there for 15 years? Anyway, were you saying about Tim Thomerson?
Oh, I mean, he's great in Trancers, but this is not Trancers we're talking about.
This is not Trancers. No, this isn't even a Charles Band movie. This isn't even Doll Man.
Trancers did that really well. I was going to say,
Yeah.
where they kind of took the detective angle with dystopian kind of thing a little bit. They kind of did it pretty well in that movie. Anyway,
This is not that movie.
it's not that movie.
So Phil gives us a lot of cheesy noir slang dialogue and narration. And who plays Philip, Jordan? We talked about this gentleman before.
Okay, this one I remember. Yes, this is John Stockwell playing Phil, and he was in a movie we talked about previously called My Science Project.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, this is one of two bad post-apocalypse movies John Stockwell ended up being in. I mean, hey, brother's got to work. I'm not knocking the brother for working, but hey, two bad movie. This one and a movie called City Limits, which you may have seen on Mystery Science Theater 3000, also starring Kim Cattrall. And you almost would think, I don't know, between these two movies, it's like, oh my God, this is just like...
Who's his agent? Boy.
Who is his agent? Although, hell, he was in two Tom Cruise movies later on. He was in Losing It and Top Gun, playing Mustang at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, we shan't talk about Losing It. Scientology bought that movie and buried it. Anyway.
They must have. They burned the negatives.
And who plays Marlowe, the other dude?
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Michael Dudikoff from American Ninja. Oh my God.
The man himself. Freaking Michael Dudikoff. Holy shit.
He was going to play Spider-Man in the Canon film at one point when the Canon was going to make it, but it didn't happen.
Oh my God. We're not worthy. This movie's not worthy. Wow. But hey, acting chops, both these gentlemen are no slouches, I think. Right?
Yeah. Michael Dudikoff, he's kind of playing, Shaggy and Scooby-Doo in this world a bit. I mean,
He's a little obnoxious. That's his character.
A little obnoxious, but you see some growth with his character. So, yeah, you see some acting chops.
Well, I didn't see any growth, but okay. I take your word for it. Spoilers.
Yikes! He's doing a lot of that in the movie.
But yeah, okay, he's the comic relief, and they both dream of becoming private eyes, like I said. Jordan, do we like these guys? We're stuck with them the whole movie. Do we like them?
Not exactly right off the bat, no.
Okay.
No, I don't know what to think of them. I'm like, why are they've been at a bunker this whole time and they're obsessed with Raymond Chandler? Like, what the fuck, man? And they've been in a bunker this whole time and they didn't kill each other or fall in love with each other?
Yeah.
Like, one of the two would have happened.
There's many questions.
They had to go through puberty by themselves. Oh,
this isn't a Blue Lagoon situation.
No.
Anyway, let's move on from that and talk about something else. So anyway, I complained about the cheesy dialogue in Streets of Fire, but the dialogue in this movie makes Streets of Fire seem genuine, like it's
like Hamlet, yeah, or Mammoth, yeah, or Hammett for that matter.
Hamlet, Mammoth, any of it.
Hamlet, Mammoth, Hamlet, Mammoth, Hammett.
Damn it, Mammoth.
Yeah, damn it, Hammett, Mammoth, yeah.
So, weird coincidence, Jordan. Albert Pyun, however you say his name, was actually a big fan of Streets of Fire. Now, I didn't know this, Jordan. This is a fun fact. Are you ready for a fun fact?
Not joking, really.
Yeah. So there's an interview I found, and it is with it's Money into Light. Who's this dude? Paul Rollins, whatever, just to attribute. Anyway,
Paul Rollins. I used to be Facebook friends with him. No joke.
Really? Well, get him on the podcast. Anyway, he's talking to Pyun in an interview. He says, one of your most intriguing films is Road to Hell, your unofficial sequel to Walter Hill's Streets of Fire. How did such an idea come about? I originally saw Streets of Fire at a private screening at Universal in 1984 when I was editing Radioactive Dreams.
Whoa.
I was blown away by the movie, and it stayed with me for years. I owned every format came out, and I got to know Michael Pare, and we would talk about how we'd get together and do a movie one day. I had cast his co-star on Streets of Fire, Deborah Van Valkenburg, on a couple things. It all seemed to come together in 2008. I was able to make Road to Hell. Did you have any interaction with Walter Hill about the movie? No, but we did have to get involved with the Universal because we licensed some of the songs from Streets of Fire.
Ooh,
wow.
I got to go find this movie now.
We just talked about Streets of Fire. Check that episode out. But weird coincidence.
How weird. Yeah.
With Radioactive Dreams and the director of this film. So
we're not even joking. That was a weird coincidence, folks out there listening.
Yes.
Not even joking.
It's an 8 on the weird scale, 7.5.
It's funny you mentioned that because I thought back to Streets of Fire watching this movie.
Yes.
Over the look and the style, because I thought this looks like a rock opera of sorts. Like it wants to be a rock opera at some points.
Yes.
The way Streets of Fire falls into that.
Totally agree.
That kind of rock operatic kind of style.
I kind of thought they'd make a good double feature in a weird way.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be the second movie and you would leave about 10 minutes into it. But
yeah. This would be the second. Yeah. Streets of Fire would be a headliner, right? And then this would be the bottom, the B movie.
Yeah. So anyway, weird coincidence, but so Phil thinks the two men that locked him into the shelter who are not there anymore are not their fathers. That's, grandpa's there.
Yeah.
And then Marlo thinks they were private eyes somehow. Anyway, so they hop into a car and then they pull out into the wasteland. And Misty, the car they hop into, our friend who loves cars, is a 1976 Chevy Monte Carlo. But previously we saw a 1950 Ford in the cave before the bomb dropped. So they drive into the wasteland, listen to the movie's title song. They run into a blonde being chased by mutants.
Yeah. These mutants, they look like they just stepped out of Land of Doom, maybe. Another movie we talked about.
Land of Doom. They wish they were in Land of Doom. No, I'm kidding. Which is worse.
They would have had an easier ride in that movie. They just would have had to wear a cloak, no makeup.
Yeah. And so we get a quick cut and voiceover, and 30 seconds of dialogue between Marlo and the girl is missing. So there's some weird, I'll point it out, but there's some weird cuts and weird edits in this movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Like literally 10 seconds of footage might have been cut out. Maybe they didn't get the audio or I don't know. Something happened. And so we get an explanation. And then Marlo found out from the girl that blah, blah, blah. And it's not much. But anyway, I'm saying too much about that.
No, you're right. And it's funny, too, that at the very end of the movie, the first credit up is the editor, the poor editor.
Yeah.
Which the editor must have just had he must have had problems editing this movie. I mean, but yeah, you're right. There's something there feels like there's a lot of missing holes.
Yeah, and we can delve into that later as we get in, but something's wrong with this movie. I don't know. We'll figure it out hopefully by the end. But that is definitely noticeable and happens all the time. And then what is also noticeable, what also happens all the damn time, is all the dick jokes. And Jordan, when I say dick jokes, I don't mean a penis. I mean a private eye. Ha ha.
Oh my God. Every dialogue. You never had a couple of private dicks before, huh? You're like, how many times can you make this joke? This is worse than Schwarzenegger saying freeze in Batman and Robin.
Ooh.
Or cool it. Or how many times can you make these jokes already? Okay. How many times?
I know. It's so annoying. I wish I could slap the movie.
Get a writer.
Jeez.
Get a dick joke writer. I know one in Florida. He used to write comedy in LA. Okay. Bam. There you go.
Yeah, go down to the local comedy cellar and find anybody to write you some dick jokes.
You can find a lot of better dick jokes down there. Anyway. I guarantee you. Yeah.
Anyway, so Miles Archer is the girl, played by Lisa Blount.
Yeah. She was in a lot of stuff back then.
Yeah. Nominated for a Golden Globe for Officer and a Gentleman, Best New Star.
Oh, that's right. She was the best friend of Deborah Winger in that movie.
Yeah. And Academy Award winner for producing a small film. So this is the second Academy Award winner in this movie, next to George Kennedy.
I've seen her in some other bad movies, though. Well, at least one. She was in this De Niro movie that it was footage of De Niro somebody took, and they
go into the grocery store?
They reshot stuff. Yeah, literally. It was like that. I mean, it was like him walking into a door, him opening a door, him looking at something, him eating something. And yeah, they had this footage of Robert De Niro like pre-Mean Streets or something. And I can't remember for the life of me what the movie is called. And she was in it. Like she was added in with one of the other actors in the movie.
Yeah. And she's also from Fayetteville, Arkansas, Jordan, a town we both lived in or near.
I think she went back there to make a movie too, like in the early 2000s, I think, called Crystal, I think.
Yeah, look into that. So anyway, Miles Archer escaped from a missile base, and she hops in the car with the guys, and Marlo taps her on the shoulder. And speaking of Harmony from Land of Doom, she does this, "Don't touch me." So,
yeah.
that really reminded me of Harmony from Land of Doom.
I got that vibe too.
Don't
In the
touch
beginning,
me.
I got Xanadu vibes with this whole scene, honestly.
Yeah. Anyway, so Miles kisses Marlowe to steal his revolver, which is empty.
She kisses him and gropes him, and yeah.
Yeah. And so you think this movie's going to get good for a minute. You're like, no. And then Miles accidentally drops one of the atomic bomb keys mentioned at the beginning of the movie in the car.
Yeah, what was the point of that?
2 keys to unite them all. I don't know why she was stealing the gun and then dropped the keys. So the movie can happen, as Brian George, the movie guy, would say.
But it was right underneath her. Why didn't she even? Oh, come on! It was right there.
Look, all those questions are answered by it's the apocalypse and there are mutants. Okay.
It's the apocalypse. We're all a little foggy. Okay.
You know, never seen a car before. I don't know. Look,
It's toxic waste damage. You
Toxic
just
waste
explain
is
that
in
for
there.
every way. Yeah.
Visibility's low. You know. Yeah, radiation really messes with your eyesight. Anyway, so Marlowe is in love, like we care, but he is for the rest of the movie with her. And then we get that dialogue. Miles Archer had seen something coming, something that had been chasing her. We took a powder and she left us like a couple knuckle-brained ducks. We were decoys covering her escape. Like, honestly, guys, you have to hear a lot of that. Just like you have to hear Jordan's puppy mill in the back. Are you running a grooming salon there? Are you fostering? What's going on there, Jordan?
I am. It's called Radioactive Dreams Grooming Salon. And today we're having a special called the radiation treatment. And it's a wart remover treatment for your dog, actually.
Oh,
that's right.
Great.
It's made to beautify your dog. It's beautifying your dog. That's what it's for.
And your dog comes out with pink hair. Like
That's
the
right.
mutants who attack them in the next scene.
We can do pink hair, by the way, Anthony, for your dog.
Yeah. Miles Archer runs away, and these pink-haired lady goons attack the car of motorcycles. We've all seen
That's another special we've got at my dog thing, by the way. The pink-haired lady goon special.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
For your little poodle or collie, it's going to be perfect. Anyway, I'm sorry. But yeah, a bunch of goons. Oh my God. So yeah. The movie. This movie.
Yeah, the movie. And then this is when I left for popcorn. And by that I meant I just left the house and went to go buy popcorn as the movie was.
This is the point where I went to roll another joint because I realized I wasn't stoned enough for this movie. Anyway.
It's not going to help you. Anyway, they somehow beat the girls. It doesn't matter. Then the name on the case is Dash Hammer, which is like Phil's dad, and Marlowe wants to find his dad too.
Little nod there, yeah.
Are these grandpas or dads? I don't know. They're older. They're sort of older. Maybe they're old dads. Maybe they're like 50 and had kids or something.
I'm almost disturbed to think about. I don't think they're their real dads. I'm almost disturbed to think about why they really have them there in that bunker.
Well,
I hate to say it like that, but
put a pin in that because that will be a discussion we do have later. I promise. We will ask those questions. Will the movie answer that, audience? I don't know, but we will have questions.
We'll see.
So anyway, so they want to find their dads, but they have like Phil has a chip on his shoulder because the dads never came back to get them after leaving them, right?
Yeah, these are shitty dads, I have to say.
Yeah.
These are horrible parents.
Yeah, post-apocalyptic daddy abandonment issues. It happens.
It's My Two Dads post-apocalyptic version. There was a TV show in the 80s, kids, called My Two Dads. Look it up. Anyway, yeah.
And it was Paul Reiser and some other guy, and you wish that Paul Reiser had left. Anyway.
That's right. Greg Evigan, Paul Reiser, look it up. They were not in it. Well, they could have been in a bunker. It would have made them interesting.
It wouldn't have hurt. So anyway, they meet a kid dressed like John Travolta from Saturday Night Fever.
Oh, yeah. 2 of them. Yeah.
2 of them. And they said they ran out of gas and the kid pulls guns. And these kids, this is my favorite part of the movie, maybe. I don't know.
I know. I kind of wish this had been the whole movie with the kids, maybe. This is like a Bugsy Malone post-apocalypse Bugsy Malone or some shit.
And all the kids are like grown up because they're cussing like sailors. I love it.
Yeah.
These kids are cussing, pulling guns.
These kids are great actors. They're just like, they're little like miniature Tony Danzas or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of adorable.
Do you know who that main kid is, Jordan?
No, who?
It is played by Damian Slade from Better Off Dead. He's the I want my $2 kid.
Oh my God, Sir Damian Slade.
I know.
I want my $2. Man, that's what nobody plays a collector better than him, man. This kid should have been in like The Godfather. I mean, if he'd been old enough, he could have played a thug. He could have played an assassin in Godfather easily.
Mr. Corleone wants his $2.
Yeah.
So anyway, Phil and Marlo take their guns and they rescue a hippie girl from the van. Her name is Rusty Mars, and she is played by Michelle Little from My Demon Lover.
Oh, that's where I remember. Yeah, the Scott Valentine star, My Demon Lover, Post Family Ties. Yes.
So if you're paying attention to this movie, which there's no reason you should be, there's guys from the 40s, our heroes. Then they run into some little kids from the 70s who are disco mutants. They're not deformed. They're just wearing disco clothes. And then they meet a van of hippie kids. Most of them are dead, and then they save her. So we're going through the decades here, right?
Yeah, kind of. I guess I never thought about it that way, now that you say that.
Yeah, we're all these people trapped in different fallout shelters. From like with parents from a different decade that raised them, with like the disco kids raised from Saturday Night Fever VHSs or something. I don't know.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. My parents met in a disco. Fun fact. My dad listened to Saturday Night Fever when I was a little kid. I thought I was John Travolta at like 4 years old. So I'd walk in the room and go, "I'm John Travolta," and do the star dance thing, symbol thing, from the movie. I didn't have the clothes, man, but I could have, that'd been cool.
Should have been a disco mutant. Anyway, missed opportunities.
I missed my calling.
So we get another bad edit, a weird cut and wipe again, and then their gas is gone. It's just, these things take me out of the movie. I just hate it. Even for a low budget movie. But so something was wrong with, they didn't get the audio, or they didn't get, something happened. They didn't get the right take, or who knows. And they decide to walk anyway through some exposition to Edge City, which is this big city in the wasteland, with areas run by different various gangs. Okay. We've already met a few of them, each from like different decades, basically. So Rusty knows Mile Archer and doesn't really like her. She's, watch out for her. And then, on the way to Edge City, they walk across some lava flows.
Oh, was that what that was?
The black lava flows. Part of this, that was filmed in Hawaii. This freaking movie went to Hawaii to film like one scene.
Oh my God, they shot outside an actual volcano in Hawaii. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, that's exactly.
I thought I saw something about that it was shot in Hawaii, one other location, and then in some locations in Los Angeles. I'm assuming for like rest of the stuff they had to shoot, maybe pickups, whatever. Yeah,
some of the desert stuff was in Mexico.
Yeah,
the director's from Hawaii, so I think he just got a paid trip home. Honestly, I don't know.
Oh, nice.
But waste of money. You're just like, what? Why? Anyway. So for reasons, Rusty's checking Philip's wallet, looking for pics from before the apocalypse, and she finds 2 missile launch keys, Jordan.
Oh, yes.
So these 2 dudes have the 2 keys to control some nuclear missile somewhere and basically control the world, is what we're saying. Okay? Are you on the edge of your seat yet?
So what's going on here? So the 2 keys?
The 2 dudes have the 2 keys.
So man.
Everybody wants. Okay?
Okay, yeah. Why they still have it on them the whole time? And why does everybody know that they've got those keys? How do they automatically know that? Like, that's what I was.
Word travels fast in the post-apocalypse. Okay, there's the gossip mill.
It's a small town, I guess.
Yeah.
Hey, them boys at the 2 keys finally got out of that shelter they were in. Did you hear? Mashing my cigarette. Can you pour me another cup of coffee? Yeah. Can you believe it? I know. And you know what else? Karen next door, she's mutated fully now. She's got one eye in the middle of her head. Can you believe it?
I always knew it. I told her to stay away from them oil drums and radioactive drums. She wouldn't listen to me.
I told her to stay out of the atmosphere, but she did not listen to me, no. So she has succumbed to that mutation shit. I cannot believe it.
I heard she ate her dog last week and then ate her neighbor's dog. I can't believe it. Yeah. Glowing green. Anyway, so.
Oh, just girlfriend, I don't know what is wrong with her. Just, I'm not into that cannibalism shit, and I will not let the radiation tell me otherwise. No. Thank you.
So they go to Edge City, Jordan. It's partly cloudy and the 1950s in Edge City. And we hear rockabilly music because now we're in the 50s, right? Right?
Yeah, and it's like cluttered with people and shot in a meat locker, I'm guessing.
Is this the same universe as Streets of Fire? Because this is when you start getting the Streets of Fire vibes. This does feel like Richmond or whatever, like the shittiest part.
Yeah, right. It's like a lower budget Streets of Fire. Like if Streets of Fire couldn't afford to shoot on the Universal lot, had to shoot in between a couple of warehouses somewhere cheaper. Yeah. But they had neon still to use.
Another movie that filmed in numerous places unneededly. So, Jordan, is this the same universe, do you think? Like, is this the timeline? Like, we lost World War II, Streets of Fire happened, then the apocalypse happened, and then this movie happened? Is that
okay?
Is that it?
Maybe this is the apocalypse. This is after the nuclear holocaust of Streets of Fire.
Yeah.
The Road Warrior after Mad Max.
This is a sequel.
Where shit's much worse, you know.
I can see that. But the bombs fell, and then the only fallout from that was urban blight and Halloween face makeup.
Yeah. They still have plenty of Kiss makeup to go around in this movie.
Everyone's just like cosplaying some bad Halloween costume. They call them mutants, but they're just dressed like hippies, or they're dressed like greasers with like maybe some white face makeup. I don't know.
It's almost like one of them just one day decided, like, hey, you know what? I always thought I looked better, prettier with white face paint on. Yeah, I'm a man and I want to be pretty with white face paint on. Okay. Just cover myself and put some lipstick on there. Yeah.
And suddenly it's Rocky Horror. That'd be more interesting.
Yeah, like they were just, covering themselves in makeup in some Silence of the Lambs kind of way. I don't know. But yeah, what is with these people's makeups? Yeah, it's freaky.
It's really bad.
Like beyond Blade Runner, it's like, yeah, you're like, these are what people wanted to see themselves like in the post-apocalyptic era, I guess. That's how far they've gone. Down.
Yeah, but how do these people feed and clothe themselves? They have time to because basically Rusty takes them to a music video and everyone's dancing in 60s gear, kind of, when they remember to dress the extras. Like everyone has their other needs met that they could just screw around. And I mean, this kind of, I don't know, have you ever seen that movie? It's kind of like Snowpiercer. There's different cars with different people in them and everyone's just hanging out and partying. So it's like, I don't know. It makes no damn sense in the apocalypse. That's what I'm saying. Like this,
it kind of looks like a goth club.
So some drugged up girls grab Marlowe, and then Rusty takes Phil out back, and then Rusty seduces Phil and handcuffs him to a table, and we find out her boyfriend is what, Jordan?
Oh, a cannibal.
Yeah.
Is this the guy played by Norbert Weiser?
It is Norbert Weiser.
Norbert Weiser, Sir Norbert Weiser from Android. Oh. And yeah, it's weird, man. He's like touching all over him in an odd way in the scene.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna cut him up, and every post-apocalyptic movie needs a good cannibal.
Yeah, he's really good in this scene, actually. I will say, though, Norbert Weiser, who was also the guy at the beginning of The Thing. He was the Norwegian at the beginning of The Thing that's actually trying to kill the dog. Fun fact.
Well, he's going for it here, and I guess this is a truly creepy. This is probably the scariest, creepiest scene of this movie, don't you think?
Oh yeah, Norbert Weiser is chewing up the scenery, man, big time.
Yeah, he wants to sell him by the pound, but he also wants the keys. Again, you're right, Jordan. How do they know? They've been with Rusty the whole time. How do they know they have the keys? I guess she told him. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, why does everybody know that these kids broke out of a bunker with the keys, that they've got the keys? They're like, oh yeah, this whole time we've been looking for these kids that dress like a Raymond Chandler novel. And yeah, oh, finally they wandered into our little town. Okay, yeah, they're finally here and now. Okay, there they are. Bam.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing makes sense here. So they escape from the cannibals and they're in their underwear at this point, or Phil is.
Yeah, because she tried to seduce them, and then he finally got strong, and then kicked her. He bopped him in the head and got out of there and ran out of there, and then he finds his brother, right?
Yeah.
Who's having a better time, I guess.
Yeah, who was with these chicks, and then suddenly, he's like, we gotta go, and he's in his underwear too. So apparently things were going well.
And he's like, I was about to score, butthead. Dumbass, I was about to score. Marlowe.
Could this movie have been better with Beavis and Butthead? It couldn't have been worse. I
mean, this is not too much different. Yeah. The apocalypse rules.
But but Phil's real serious. John Stockwell has one gear as an actor. It's serious. You know what I mean? He's a good actor.
The thing is, he's a good actor, I will say, in all honesty, John Stockwell. And yeah, with his voice, I could easily imagine him doing this Chandler-esque kind of voiceover and detective thing. in a different movie, though.
Yeah.
You know, him and Lisa Blount in a different movie, you know, maybe an actual film noir movie. I like post-apocalyptic movies. Don't get me wrong. I like sci-fi post-apocalypse. But some things, when you cross genres, like it's like crossing the streams in Ghostbusters. It might end up bad.
Jordan was perplexed. He couldn't put it together why this movie was bothering him so much.
Oh yeah, there's my voiceover.
there's
my narration.
There's your noir inner dialogue.
That's what it feels like to have narration over me. Thank you, Anthony. I've always wondered what that was like.
Jordan was more mixed up than a milkshake.
Jordan and Anthony tried to put together what this movie was all about on this podcast.
Then a dame walked in the room. I wish. Anyway, no, that didn't happen.
That's another thing. Narration is dangerous. I think we've talked about this before. Mm-hmm. It's dangerous here in this movie once again. Dangerous in a way that like it's like not helping any. You know, it's just kind of over everything and it's not helping. Other than maybe giving you what's in the character's head a little bit.
They use it to fill in the gaps in a cheesy way. They don't, if they're not consistent with how they use it, and it's not good, and they don't use it all the time. Like it's really only used a few times, but it's just really, I don't know, it's inconsistent. They didn't. No.
I love the movie Blade Runner, but I'm not the biggest fan of the voiceover version of Blade Runner.
Yeah,
that does it better still than this movie does. Mm-hmm. It utilizes it better in that version still.
Yeah. So anyway, they escape, and then Marlowe tries to sneak into the sewer, and his buddy Phil is captured by the disco mutants. The disco kids.
Disco. The disco kids.
The disco kids.
Who want their $2.
We want our 2 keys. And then so Marlowe goes to escape. He's trying to crawl into the sewer. And Jordan, then what happens?
Wait, what does happen here? I'm sorry.
Jordan, how could you forget this? A fucking giant mutant dinosaur rat monster head.
Oh, that.
Pushes out of the, like, what the fuck?
I forgot that was in this movie still.
Yeah. Pushes out of the sewer and launches him in the air.
That was a kind of nice surprise in this movie's part, though. I was like, oh my God, some mutant fucking alligator thing, or I don't know. I thought at first it was a mutant alligator from the John Sayles, Roger Corman movie, but no, man. I'm like, okay, that was actually kind of the interesting part of this movie, yeah.
I thought that was really good. It's this
the big mutant.
Is that where all the money went, other than the trips to Hawaii? I don't know.
Yeah, that looked expensive. I don't know if that was. I mean, that doesn't even look like it was forced perspective, unless they fooled me really well. It looks like it was a big actual animatronic.
It was a life size. Yeah, it was like a 15-foot puppet.
Holy shit! How'd they get that in a $3 million movie? I saw what this budget was. It was $3 million, right? That was what I saw it was.
Spoiler alert! Yeah.
Spoiler. I know we talk about that at the end normally, but yeah, I'm just saying. So yeah, he's screaming like a girl. I remember when he's vomited out of this thing. Philip is it Philip?
Yeah, it's Marlowe.
Marlowe, yeah.
Dudikoff. Yeah, I don't know.
Dudikoff,
I just didn't roundhouse kick it, but anyway.
Dudikoff.
But anyway, I do like that puppet. I thought the puppet was great.
That was fun, actually. I kind of like that. I got like My Science Project dinosaur vibes again, almost like like that kind of thing. But yeah, no, that was kind of neat.
I should have looked up who did the effects, but it was pretty good. Anyway.
It was almost like they stuck Godzilla in this movie out of nowhere, kind of. Like every kind of mutation was going to be in this movie, so.
I want to see that movie. I want to see the movie that this rat monster is in more.
Yeah, no shit.
I feel like that was the glimpse of the movie we should have gotten, a little more of that vibe, but we don't. We don't get that. Anyway, so then it seems like every time something like that happens, they go through a door and then they're in the next set. And then the baddies from the last stage of the video game stop chasing them or just gone. And then they're on to the new threat. It's the worst script writing. It's so like, we closed this door, so those guys aren't going to chase us through this door we just closed. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I agree. The transitions here are odd, and it just makes for odder editing, I think, when it's like that already, Yeah.
So then Marlowe goes to save his buddy, Phil, who's captured by the disco mutants. He goes into a warehouse, somehow finds him. Because all this happens within 400 feet of, this whole journey they're on. It's like building to building.
And those kids have guns, aimed at him. So,
They killed a whole van full of hippies. So they're pretty formidable.
These kids are not to be messed with. They're not to be trifled with, as they say in the Old West. No.
They're the biggest threat in this movie, I think.
Yeah. Those white suits are blinding, too.
So, Jordan, they're talking to the bosses, the baddies in this movie.
Yeah.
So Marlowe finds Phil in the next room. He overhears this conversation. And who are the bad guys in this movie, so to speak?
Oh, the alien-looking creatures.
Yeah.
The alien creatures that look like I guess they're supposed to be beyond, like, really mutated humans.
Yeah, they look.
Or are they aliens? I'm confused, man. Are they aliens or mutants?
I think they're mutants. They have these reptile faces, and they're in robes, and they're basically telling the little disco boys that they've got to find the two guys to get the keys, so that Miles Archer doesn't get them or doesn't take them to the video district and launch the missiles. So these guys are against Miles Archer.
So these guys are supposed to be like what we're going to happen to all of us, some of us after the nuclear. We're all just going to go back to our old lizard states because we all came from lizards, right, Anthony?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's another podcast.
Yeah. Lizard people.
How we all came from lizards. How we were all spawned from lizards, people. Another podcast by me, Jordan. Yes.
The Lizard Hypothesis by Jordan.
Yes. You thought you saw all this on the History Channel. No. No, I've got the answers. V was not just a TV show. No.
So anyway, yeah, it does have V vibes. That's what they sort of look like.
They do kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So then they're telling the disco boys who already have them. I don't know what's going on here. Look, Jordan, does this movie even have a plot or make any sense? What's going on here? These just scenes happening one after another.
I mean, yeah, these guys were in a bunker. They like Raymond Chandler, and then they're fish out of water. They're out to see the apocalyptic world. Radioactive Dreams, baby. They're looking around. Yeah, it's just they're all over the place, you know.
Yeah, that's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, and they got those keys. They got those keys to the kingdom because they could set off the weapons and all. And then,
and all the mutants are fighting over them.
It might be tone deaf if it were a song, but no. It's Radioactive Dreams. Radioactive Dreams. I'm sorry.
That was you should have written the theme song. That was but it felt like I had a seizure because sometimes I would just like kind of wake up and be like, "What the hell is going on?"
And the seizure wasn't just from all the strobe lights in this movie. No.
Oh God, no. Yeah,
there's a lot of strobe lights that could have caused seizures. I'm not even.
Oh
joking.
yeah, and thank you for bringing that up because the lighting is terrible in this movie. I don't know, like I watched this full disclosure on YouTube, so I imagine it's a bad VHS rip, but the lighting is horrible.
I feel bad saying this too because it seems like it's hard to find a solid version of this. Right. I mean, I found mine on archive.org, name dropping as a bootleg.
Not a plug.
Yeah, because it wasn't available I would have rented it on Amazon. I would have gladly rented it on Amazon in high def. Honestly, if Anthony and I can ever find any movie in a better quality on Amazon for a rental, we will do it. Honestly.
No, don't say that. I don't want to plug Amazon.
Oh,
give me some money, Amazon.
Sorry. Yeah. But please give us money, Amazon. Yes.
But yeah, I mean,
we don't do this for free, Amazon. Understand? Okay.
So, but
we're like those disco kids in this movie.
It is, yeah. It's hard to find this movie. It never was on DVD, and
so it's hard. I mean, like I don't know to judge because the quality of what I watched too was, I think it was taken from a VHS maybe and just cropped.
Jordan, I normally give the movie a benefit of a doubt. This time I'll just be unkind to the movie, and I'll be like, I'm going to blame the movie. I'm sorry. Yeah. I just bet you it wasn't much better. Because you're in dark sets and warehouses and dark alleyways, and half the time you're like, what's even going on here? And then you realize that you don't really care. So you're just like, meh, you know. There
was definitely a Blade Runner influence here, but man, that if you're going to go Blade Runner all the way on a movie, you have to have a lot of fog available.
Yeah.
And you got to use a lot of fog if you want it to look like Blade Runner. In my student film experience making movies, it takes a lot of fog to get that kind of shot, like diffusion. But they're doing all that sideways cross lighting like they did in Blade Runner. Or were the lights just in front and back of the actors kind of thing?
Yeah, so everything's shadowed.
That can be dangerous, though. I mean, which is why TV shows shoot a certain way, because everybody's going to watch it on TV later on at some point. So they were not taking that into account on this movie.
No. Blade Runner, heck, I wish I was watching, like, I don't know, Hell Comes to Frogtown or something. Just it's anything else. I don't care. I don't care.
Hell Come to Frogtown was a really good movie. As I remember, yes, a very solid.
I think it make a good double bill with this film. I don't know. The lighting is also questionable in that movie. Is probably why I'm thinking of it. So anyway, we get another music video as we go to the video district, which is aptly named. So we're now in an '80s new wave and punk rocker video.
Yeah. We almost think we're going to like hear One Night in Bangkok, playing at some point. One night in Bangkok makes a hard man humble.
Yeah. But instead we get Guilty Pleasures, which is like a 4-hour song. It's a long song.
Oh, yeah. And we get to see the singer actually singing it in front of us. So it's just like what you said, a music video.
It's a music video.
Why? Why not? Hey, let's have a music video moment right now. As the reel just changed. Yes. Why not?
Yep. And so Miles is there. And so she's like, she takes him and she's going to go slip into something more comfortable, as you did in the 80s. Mm-hmm. So dating advice in the post-apocalypse. Don't trust anyone, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, this is worse than Tinder. Like, this lady has done nothing good for you or to you, and there's nothing but trouble. You can't trust absolutely anyone. Everyone that you have tried to trust has either tied you to a table so that you could like be cut up by cannibals.
Yeah.
Or worse.
They have all seduced you because they wanted something from you.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing in the post-apocalyptic world is everything you have is of value. Even you as a human become of value.
Yeah. Everybody wants something from you. So just, hey, why don't you not try to date? Take some time for yourself, guys. You've just been out of the bunker like not even a day. Why don't you stop trying to hook up with chicks, man?
My God, that means they're still virgins. I hate to bring that part of it up even, but damn, how sad.
Well, we don't know after that last scene. Maybe Marlo, there were 2 chicks. I don't know. I don't want to know, but yeah. So I get it. 2 young guys, but keep it in your pants, fellas. Keep it in your pants, at least until day 2 out of the bunker.
Yeah, because they're all going to want something from you. Exactly. Yeah. And it might be your flesh, too, because meat is going to be valuable. Yes, cannibalism is going to be rampant in a post-apocalyptic world.
As is syphilis. Anyway, so what does Miles want? She pulls a gun and she wants the freaking keys, right?
Yeah.
And they're actually looking through these nuclear launch code instructions. They're like, wait a minute. For detectives, these guys are pretty terrible, Jordan. I got to say, they want to be detectives, but they are just stupid.
They are not Raymond Chandler level detectives. No. They're not even like Dick Tracy. How do I put it? You're not Dick Tracy. You're not even Raymond Chandler. You're not even fucking Magnum PI, you guys.
Yeah. You're not even Blue's Clues over here. You know what I mean?
You couldn't figure out shit. You couldn't even put a puzzle together if it was 12 pieces.
That's about true. So anyway, Miles puts a gun to Marlo's head. And Jordan, your favorite phrase, Deus ex machina.
Oh, yes. Something
that just comes out of nowhere for no reason to save you because the script writers were just like, meh, they followed this so far. Well, no one cares. Rusty shows up. Remember Rusty, the hippie girl?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about her.
Remember her?
Where was she this whole time? Wow.
Who the hell knows?
And does she look great in that dress, doesn't she?
Yeah, and she's like, you know what? She's in love with Phil, even though she tried to have him killed and eaten. I don't know.
Possibly.
I mean,
just saying. I
couldn't get over that in a relationship personally. That would be a deal breaker for me. But I don't know. It's a post-apocalypse. What are you going to do?
But she's somehow committed.
Yeah. So she's committed. I guess that means something. But she shows up to save them, and all the henchmen start shooting everywhere, and they escape. So drink every time people start shooting, and these dudes escape from somewhere.
Yeah.
That's literally happens all the time. It's an old trope that the screenwriters love to use in this movie.
And then we get Michael Dudikoff, oddly, zoinks, gee, all in school. Well, I'm sorry. Yeah,
that's about right.
American Ninja, Michael Dudikoff, babe.
Zoinks.
Zoinks. I'm sorry.
I'm a private dick over here. Yeah.
I expected more from the Dudikoff.
We're just a couple of dicks hanging around, swinging dicks. Watch me dance. I'm a swinging dick. Good Lord. Come on.
I'm going to dance like Charlie Schlatter in 18 again.
So Rusty's good here and not Miles, even though Rusty just almost had them eaten by cannibals. But I want to stop here because I don't care really at this point, what happens, Jordan? In Screenwriting 101, we don't really care about what happens because our lead characters are acted upon by the story. They don't do anything that propels them forward. They're just bouncing around like a ping pong ball.
Yeah, even when they get up to speed here, which we'll talk about in a second, it's still they didn't earn it though.
Yeah.
They didn't, you're right. They didn't do anything. It was literally propelled by the hand of God the whole time. You know, the Deus Ex Machina, the screenwriter's hand.
Which is frustrating because you want to see people do things and have consequences. You know, I don't know. It's just a human need in storytelling, and this movie doesn't do it. So they're just bouncing around.
I mean, the closest we get is when Marlowe is about to be eaten by the cannibal, and he does get up and fucking take a punch to everyone to get out of there. Like, that's the most we see, really.
Yeah.
You know, with between these two guys, you know. And then, at the end, but when they know not to trust, which we'll get to in a second, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what happens. Next, they escape and they get into this warehouse. They're like, the world is cold and vengeful, and we're not going to let anyone get the keys.
It's after they've saved what's-her-face from the two disco kids, about to be killed by the two disco kids again, the two disco mutants, right? And they show up looking cool in the fog and the rain and their guns and all. They look the part.
They get their clothes back and then they're back to business.
Yeah, but it would have been better if it led up to that point because, they don't do anything. They don't even do anything Raymond Chandler-esque up until now. Like, Raymond Chandler, I've never even read Raymond Chandler. I just know Philip Marlowe was all about, I remember the Philip Marlowe TV movies from HBO with Powers Booth, I guess. But I remember Philip Marlowe is supposed to be a gumshoe detective that solves crime with his brain.
Yeah.
There's none of that here.
And that's exactly, you've hit the nail on the point. Here's a movie whose whole premise is about paying homage to those old pulp novels.
Yeah.
And there's ups and downs in those novels with these characters, but they're smart. They overcome the bad guys. They double cross. They outwit. You know, they're acted upon by the story, but at the end, they use their wits and they do something that earns them whatever success at the end of the novel or whatever it is. And that's not happening here at all.
I feel like this movie might have been missed opportunities too. I could go into that more so later, but you know.
Yeah, let's touch on that in a minute because we're getting closer to the end of the movie.
Yeah. Which we get this cool shot of them in their suits, and they look cool, and they're Marlowe-esque looking, they're Raymond Chandler-esque looking wardrobe. But it's like, it's just like it's kind of like, it's a little late, you know, too late, too soon, maybe. Sorry.
Yeah. Too little, too late.
Yeah.
They rescue Rusty from the disco kids, and then we get this half-assed scene. Like, if you're going to do a noir scene, then lean into it. Where Rusty's like, I'm sorry for all the lies.
Yeah.
She doesn't really talk like this, but she's like, I'm sorry for all the lies, Palooka. I'm really sorry. You know, I sold you out to them cannibals and they almost ate you. But, you know, I didn't know that you had the keys and that she was who you are or whatever, you know. And then he could have been like,
better.
look, dame, you know, I'm sorry, but I can't trust you.
Yeah.
On account of the fact that you sold me out to those cannibals and all this, everything's been a lie. Like, they have a scene like that, but it's not good. They lean into all the wrong things. To your point.
I think this movie doesn't take itself seriously enough. It's trying to have too much fun.
Ooh.
I'm not against having too much fun, but they're not doing it in the right places.
Yeah.
It's
Jordan's the kind of guy at a party. He's like, everyone's having too much fun, guys. Let's dial it down. Just a notch.
It's not the proper time to bring out the hard drugs yet, okay, people?
Not yet, guys. You're having too much
Not just
fun.
yet. You're having too much fun, okay? Let me regulate your fun here.
It is 11:45. You need to wait 15 more minutes.
Okay, then we'll do the harder stuff. We'll drink the Kool-Aid, okay, with the acid in it.
Yeah. No, you were saying, like, I'm sorry I cut you off.
This movie is totally, I think it doesn't know what its tone is. It's like my wife joked. I told her she said you're saying it's a tone deaf movie because I was complaining to her about it. I'm like, yeah, that's a good way to put it. Like, it doesn't know its tone.
Yeah. It's not serious enough. It can be funny.
I think it would have been better, more serious and darker.
Yeah.
Come on. This is Chandler. This is film noir when you put it in a movie. When you do anything Chandler or Hammett or whatever, it's going to be dark. film noir means dark film, okay? So
Yeah.
apply that to post-apocalyptic sci-fi. You could do it. I mean, this maybe would have been handled better by somebody like Richard Stanley, who did
Yeah.
Hardware.
And I think you're right. I think this. Well, we'll get into our critique later.
Yeah.
But I think put a pin in that because I think you're hitting the nail on the head squarely.
Maybe that's my problem with it, which I'm trying to come to terms with it with this movie myself. Trying to come to terms with this movie.
It's like therapy. You're just like, yeah, that's the problem. It doesn't take itself seriously. It's trying to be silly because it doesn't trust the material. It doesn't.
I'm not against having points of humor in the movie, but come on, man, this is just not. It's in the wrong places here. Way in the wrong places. It's all wrong.
It doesn't. It's like it's not a very confident story, so it's trying to be silly, and that's it. I think that's you hit the nail on the head. Two kids
coming out of a bunker that were in a bunker by themselves. Like, that's serious shit, man.
Yeah.
That's like, come on, man. This is Diary of Anne Frank level shit here.
Yeah,
you know, you need to treat it that seriously. If you're going to put two little kids in a bunker who have to raise themselves, in a nuclear bunker for the rest of their lives.
That's a movie in itself. And then
that is a movie. Yeah. I'm just like, man, that's a serious thing. And I can't, as a parent, I can't get over that part of it. Okay.
Yeah. And they're a little jaded by their parents leaving, but it's one note. There's no complexity to that. It's just like, they left us, that's it.
Yeah. That's a serious thing too. They're not even addressing.
Yeah.
That could play into shit. Come on, man. It's drama here.
Yeah. So anyway, like I said, they rescue Rusty from the disco mutants. She apologizes. And then Phil's like, I don't care, Dame. And then she says, well, I look, this is and I thought this was pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
She says she doesn't owe anybody anything. Like, I don't owe you guys an apology. Look, this is the post-apocalyptic world. You guys need to get it. Like, I've got to do everything I need to do to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I thought that's a good point. To be honest, I get people are double crossing each other.
Everybody's going to be like that at that point, right? Yeah. She's like the nicer, maybe.
It's a very noir moment. That's the one moment of the film that actually fits with the premise. And
yes.
They really don't do much with it. But this movie asks the question, can a hippie girl in a 1940s wannabe detective find love in a smoky post-apocalyptic city set? No, they don't.
I guess not. No.
They split up. Okay.
Yeah.
You got a half-baked love story. And then they just split. Okay, bye. And then now we're up back to the movie. And then
not even a kiss. Not even like one last kiss.
Not even
one last makeout session. No, nothing.
They never kissed in this movie so far. I think she kissed him when he was on the table being tied up. But I mean,
but it wasn't. That was not the same though. That was her seducing him to try to get what she wanted out of him.
Yeah. So do you remember how hard I was on Streets of Fire about the love story there with Michael Pare?
Yeah,
and
you brought up valid points, so it's hard to argue with. I know.
Yeah,
and I thought you were going to be much worse, but although you said that, I couldn't argue with that. It was hard to argue with what you said on that. I was like, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, but compared to this, that was like a well-developed, thoughtful, like, oh my God, tear-jerking. That worked.
Yeah, that actually was more developed compared to this, even what little they had.
I'm gonna take back half of the things I said about Land of Doom.
Land of Doom 2, for that matter.
I'm gonna keep all the things I said about Land of Doom, and I'm gonna take all the things back about Streets of Fire. At least that bit, because this is an underdeveloped love story for sure.
And even Albert Pun agrees this movie, Streets of Fire, is better than this movie. No.
Yeah, he's like, my movie, not great. Streets of Fire, great movie. Anyway.
So good, he wanted to make a sequel of his own to it. His own fan sequel.
We got to watch that. I don't know.
I want to see that now, man. I got to look that up now. I'm sorry, I didn't know about all that. So that's surprising. Yeah. I thought I knew everything, but clearly.
So anyway, Miles reappears in some studded, puffy superhero outfit. She looks like Samus Aran from the Metroid video game series.
Yeah, and I will say this outfit looks expensive for the movie also. Just like we talked about the animatronic dinosaur. That's a lot of LEDs for 1984 filming. Yeah. I'm just saying that because kids, you don't realize, kids that see all of our LED light technology nowadays and how cheap it is and how available it is and how it uses very little power. It was not the same in 84. That kind of shit was on a calculator back then.
Yeah.
You know, they use like same kind of, anyway. I just imagine that suit was very expensive because it lit up like the way it did.
Hey, trip to Hawaii, giant rat monster, fancy suit that's in one scene. Like, yeah, we know where the money went on
That was a
this.
chunk of the budget, I guarantee you.
Yeah, no doubt.
$500,000 of the budget, probably.
So anyway, Philip and Marlowe are going to lure all the mutants into a warehouse so they can kill each other off with them as bait. This is their great scene. Let's trap ourselves in a warehouse with all the villains chasing us.
Oh, so that's what was going on here. Okay.
Yeah. So they sneak up on Miles and they take her gun, but then they get captured by her freaking goons because she has a squad of goons. Duh. Remember that from the last scene?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's right. Okay.
Because
right.
they're idiots. They're idiots. Hi, I'm Slater.
Oh.
You might remember me from Land of Doom. And Slater's Land of Mattresses. And Slater's Land of Barbecue. Take a right on Central Tidwell. Oh, hey, Slater.
Hey, Slater.
Yeah.
How you been?
Doing great, guys. Doing great. Yeah, Slater, longtime sponsor and friend of the podcast from our first episode, Land of Doom.
How's your mattress business going, by the way?
Doing pretty great. We got 4th of July coming up. Big hopes, bro. Big hopes.
Man, you know, Slater, before you know it, you're going to be bigger than Gallery Furniture was in Houston, Texas. As big as them, if not better.
I'll take it. That's praise from Caesar there, Jordan. Thank you so much.
You're going to be bigger than Mattress Mac, okay?
Well, Mattress Mac, big shoes to fill there. But I heard you guys struggling here with this movie. This is no lie, one of the worst post-apocalyptic movies ever made.
Is it? Would you say it's a loser?
I would say it's a loser, not a winner. Good one, Jordan. Why aren't you watching something like Warriors of the Wasteland or Hell Comes to Frogtown?
Good question.
Hey, that's what I said. This is my fault, Slater. This one's on me.
We always choose the lesser of the good movies, unfortunately, on this podcast, and that's the way it ends up.
Yeah, I thought it'd be fun, but so far it's been terrible. But that soundtrack slaps, bro. I love those original 80s bops. And that lady villain, Miles, she's a snack, bro. I'm so jealous. Like, who does her hair?
And that LED getup, oh my God. Don't you love a lady that wears lights on her, too? I mean, come on, like a Christmas tree.
The lights are clutch, bro. The lights are clutch.
She's hot, I agree, yeah.
Yeah.
Lisa Blount playing that lady, Miles Archer, yeah.
But Miles, she's a post-apocalyptic lady boss, trailblazer. Even before Tina Turner and Mad Max Thunderdome. Respect. I mean, there's not many lady bosses in the post-apocalypse.
Oh, by the way, Slater, are you going to open up that leather store in the mall, too, that you were talking about?
Jordan, I'd love to, but these tariffs, don't get me started.
Damn it. The tariffs with China. Oh, yeah. Man.
I mean, it's already really hard to get things in the post-apocalypse. As a small business owner, let me tell you.
Oh, man. I was looking forward to that, man. What about the S&M store you're going to open?
No, but I'm thinking about Motorcycle Custom Shop.
Oh, there you go.
Pimping people's rides.
Oh, there you go, Slater. I think that's your niche, maybe.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, but Slater, this movie, I don't know. It just has so many flaws. Look, you're a bad guy in a post-apocalyptic movie. Like, what do you think about this?
Anthony, he's a winner. Come on.
Thank you, Jordan. I am a winner.
We are losers.
No, you guys are not losers. Come on.
Oh, thanks, Slater. Shit,
I've been advertising on your show for years. You guys
never said that about Anderson, but you say that about us.
Anderson is
I'm gonna cry.
Don't get me started on Anderson. He is a loser. I am a winner. But the problem with this movie, it isn't a winner. You see, it's because the people who made this movie also destroyed it. What they failed to realize is post-apocalyptic movies need a strong villain. A clear threat that stands out because everything else in the world is dangerous, right?
Yeah, they're not so good unless they have their goons, right?
Exactly. See, I'd have Edge City cleaned up in a week. You don't need fear of a nuclear warhead to rule the apocalypse. Everything is already bombed to hell anyway. Life can't suck any more than it already does. To maintain order, you gotta be savage, bro. You need confidence, good ideas, people skills, and motorcycles with lots of flair.
Sorry, I had to hear.
Are you doing my glove thing? Strong. Only the strong will survive. Thank you, Jordan. Thanks for the call back. Anyway, do you guys mind if I plug something real quick?
Oh, fuck yes. Later, plug it, man.
Yeah, Slater, go ahead.
All right, thanks, guys. My album drops this Friday. You've heard of the apocalypse, right?
Yeah. You got an album? Oh, no way. That's awesome. Slater.
Yeah.
This your first album?
First one. First album. Well, this isn't just a apocalypse. This is my apocalypse. My story. My experiences. I wrote all the songs myself. And the track that No Lie Slays, bro, is Only the Strong Survive.
Is that going to be the single from the...
That's the single off the album. Yeah.
Only the Strong Survive?
Only the Strong Survive.
Do we have a piece of that, Anthony? Did Slater send you a single?
Yeah.
Only the strong survive in the land of doom. Only the strong survive in the land of doom. Fuck yeah! Give me another blow. Another one.
Those are some of the studio tapes right there. A little taste of what we're looking at.
That's pretty cool, Slater. I think it's a good track. I think it's gonna be a hit.
Hopefully so. I'm also proud of When the Bombs Fell, in parentheses, I Lost You, featuring my bestie Kay Lee Sweeney. That's Keighlleigh Sweeney.
Nice. Is that the love ballad from your album, I guess?
That's the ballad. It is like, her voice is like velvet, and us together, bro. It was unbelievable. I was blown away by the chemistry.
I think we have a sample of that right now. Let me see.
When the bombs fell over me, they fell over you, and I was in love with you.
I thought I lost you
When the
when the
bombs
bombs
fell, I thought I lost you. When the bombs fell.
And don't miss my Anderson diss track, I'm a winner, you're a loser. In parentheses, dead weight. Backed up by my boy, Lil Bobo Slice. He's coming up.
I am the villain. You are the hero. You are the loser.
Dead weight. Dead weight.
Only a loser is what you are. You're a loser.
Anderson. What? Dead weight.
And what you forget is the world you knew before was no way worse off. You're a loser.
Anderson. What? Loser. Loser. Whatever. Dead weight. You can find it on SoundCloud, Grubhub Music, or your nearest found warehouse, or wherever you get your bops. Also catch my dance vids on TikTok, username WinnerNotALoser22.
All right. Slater, that's awesome. Thanks for dropping by. Guys, check that out.
I've seen that. He does like a dance from every decade. It's great. And he's still got the mask on and the glove. And the glove, when he's doing the dance, it works. He's got this power glove move too that it's kind of cute. You know?
Slater's a triple threat, man. Businessman, artist. It's great. Yeah, Slater. So thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, guys, gotta go. Keep it going, guys.
Good to see you, Slater.
Love the podcast. I'm a stan. Love the podcast. Keep it up.
All right, yeah, good track.
Lovely. I like that. All right. So, Jordan, the reptile mutants from before in robes appear and demand the keys, right?
Oh, yeah. And we're still in the same movie, believe it or not.
We're still in this damn movie.
It looks like an outtake from V the series from 1985, but no, we're still in the same movie, right?
Yeah. You wish it were V the series, but then Miles mentions their names, right?
Yeah.
And Jordan, then what happens?
Is this where they peel off the makeup?
Yes, this is when they peel off the makeup.
Yeah, the big reveal, and we meet.
And what is it?
We see George Kennedy again, and he's not aged a bit.
No.
And then we see Don Murray again. The dads who left them in the bunker, Anthony, as children.
Yeah.
They have to confront their dads. And oh my God, is this this is like an Oprah Dr. Phil moment.
I
No,
know.
it's not at all. No, they're not.
No, it's not.
They're kind of lax about it all, I guess. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like, oh, Dad, good to see you. Oh, Dad. Oh.
Yeah, Dad, I'm confused, and the audience is confused, and we're expecting a big explanation because we just saw Oscar winner George Kennedy pull a reptile mask, a lizard mask off his face. How the mighty have fallen. Sometimes you fuck the duck, and sometimes the duck fucks you. You know?
Yeah, as the audience, even man, it's
The audience is a fuck duck here, and you're right. I'm waiting for this moment, Jordan, because it's going to explain everything, right?
Yeah. They're going to be like, we're sorry we left you in the bunker. We were trying to protect you.
Yeah.
But we didn't know what was going to happen. And I'm sorry, as your father, I'm sorry, Squirt, that I left you in the bunker.
Yeah.
And I liked what's become of you. I'm glad that you become a stable young man. You learn how to cut your hair by yourself. You and your brother learn how to dance. You know, you both love Raymond Chandler. I love that. Hey, you found my books.
I love that too.
You know,
no,
none of this.
No, not even okay. Well, here's what happened, and here's how we got the keys to the missiles.
Oh yeah, not even that, or not even. I'm glad to see you, Dad.
Yeah.
Can I hug you? Not even that. No.
Not even that. Not even like, here's why we're wearing the lizard masks, and here's this whole backstory about how he rose to run this gang of disco mutants, or anything.
Look, your mothers were actresses, and we were their effects men. Okay, we were the effects men, and then they died around the same time. So we did our own effects makeup, and to keep the scheme going for the whole time to keep you alive in the bunker. No. Not even
exactly.
That.
We were trying to protect you and protect ourselves, and we didn't want to do this. No.
Yeah. This whole thing was just to protect you kids.
And then we've been corrupted and blah 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 blah. None of that. Jordan just pissed out a better plot in 2 seconds, not even trying.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like we get this flashback of Kennedy and the other what's his name?
Don Murray.
The shelter. Don Murray.
No relation to Bill, by the way, or
No.
his brother Brian Doyle. No.
Nothing. I mean, flashback the shelter, no explanation. And then Miles pulls the gun on Marlowe, demanding the keys.
Mm-hmm.
And then Phil throws the old men the keys. That's a bad idea because I don't know what's going on here. I wouldn't trust anybody, right?
Yeah, no shit. Once again, like if you were stuck in a Raymond Chandler story, if you were smart, you would know not to trust anybody.
Yeah, everyone's out for themselves, and it's a noir.
Everybody's out for themselves. Exactly. That dame was out for her to protect herself. You couldn't trust her. No.
But what they always do at the end of a mystery is they explain everything. That's the release. It builds you up, and then that's the release. Like, what actually happened was this dame was double-crossing you because she's dating this guy, and yada, 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 and the whole thing was they hired you to blah, 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 and it's actually a ruse, and whatever it is, right?
Yeah. And we barely even get a Scooby-Doo ending here after they peel the masks off. Like, it was Mr. Parker, the amusement park owner, the whole time.
Yeah, nothing quite that satisfying. No,
it was the guy that ran us out of the club in the guilty pleasures city. Yeah, no, not even that.
Not even that. But no, we do get another freaking Deus Ex Machina because the scriptwriters don't know how to wrap this up. Jordan, what happens? What freaking happens?
Basically, what does happen, man? They fucking
the freaking giant. We paid for it. We got to use it. The giant dinosaur rat pops up, eats the disco kids. I can't believe these are words. I cannot believe these are words I'm saying that are coming out of my mouth. That the giant rat dinosaur thing pops up and eats the disco kids, saving the 2 guys from the bunker who are dressed like Raymond Chandler novel 40s hardboiled detectives, and then Miles pulls a gun on the old men, and they start shooting. So yet another firefight ensues.
I forgot, what broke them up. It was the damn mutant again, yes.
Those kids are eaten by the rat monster, which was cool.
The sewer rat, the giant mutated sewer rat monster.
And it took me a couple of times to figure out that's what it was. It just looks like a dog dinosaur. I don't know. Anyway.
I thought at first, it was like a dog mutant at first when I watched it again. I was like, maybe I was wrong. Maybe it's not. What the fuck is it? Jesus Christ. Anyway, all hell breaks loose. There's a lot of strobe lights.
And then, it doesn't matter. They shoot the mutant motorcycle goons who are there with Miles.
Yeah.
And I guess it's just different people's henchmen are shooting. Nobody knows. because Radioactive Dreams, because this movie, who's shooting who knows, who cares? But the music's cool. When lightning strikes, thought that song was okay.
Nightmare. Da, 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 da.
So the warehouse set falls apart, and the old men are like crushed and killed. And then Phil and Marlo, I shit you not, zip line down to them.
Yeah, before ziplining was even fun or cool.
Yeah. So this movie invented zip lining.
But everything comes crashing down.
They get the keys from the old men.
They get the keys back. Yeah.
And Jordan, they have an opportunity even here getting the keys, right?
Yeah.
So he goes to his dying father and he says, "Who are we? And what happened all those years ago?" And his dad's last words are, "What's the difference? The past is the past. Get on with your life." Like the fucking screenwriters have even given up on explaining this shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the screenwriter was talking for the dad at that point. Like, I don't want to explain anything about this. It's almost, look, this is 88 pages in, okay?
Yeah.
I got to be at 90, okay? Okay? I got 3 pages to go, okay? I don't have time to explain this shit. No.
Yeah. Who cares? Doesn't matter.
Is this when we, they leave the keys there with the old dying guys, right? And then they walk out. Is this when they do the dance walking out of the place? No.
Well, yeah, pause. Let's go back because we got to kill off Miles here. Hold on. So anyway, Miles gets the keys. I kind of mix things up. Miles gets the keys from the old men, and then Phil and Marlo have guns on her. And she says, "You don't have the guts to shoot." And then she pulls a gun, as always happens in the movie. The hero is like, "I can't shoot her. I'd be no better than her." And then she pulls a gun, and of course that gives him permission to shoot her. So Marlo shoots the girl he loves. Why he still loves her, I don't know. She's fucked him over multiple times and almost had him killed, but he's broken up about this for some reason. They get the 2 keys, and then Jordan, they walk outside to all the video mutants out there dancing and partying who all stop. And then Jordan, what happens?
It's weird that they all stop and they just kind of part as they walk through, and then they decide to dance their way out of there. Am I saying that right?
I guess.
Because, Marlo says to Philip, "You're like, you always taught me how to dance. You always learn how to dance. Tell me how to dance your way out of this one or something." I don't know what it is, but yeah, they do this dancing.
He's like, "Lighten up,
Which I will give the movie credit for. It's not out of nowhere. We saw Philip doing it at the very beginning of the movie, so that is one of the few payoffs we get as far as plot goes.
We get a payoff, people. Ding, ding, ding.
We saw him doing it earlier. It came in handy by the end of the movie, but yeah, it doesn't really come into play. It's not like it's a dance-off in Guardians of the Galaxy all over again. No, it's just like, oh, we're going to dance our way out of this crowd, and this crowd's just going to look at us like we're both Jesuses or Messiahs because we killed Miles Archer.
Killed the bosses?
Yeah.
But we do get a Footloose-style shot of their feet, right?
Oh, yeah.
As they start to dance. And then they do this swing dancing.
It's all swing dancing like 1920s friggin' dancing. To me, it's like way out of date for the 80s, I think, to try and throw it into the 80s at that point.
Well, I mean, that's the point.
Yeah.
I get it. But they didn't learn to dance from detective novels, right? Like, where did they learn to do that kind of dancing? I don't know if they would have had any videos or anything. I don't know.
Was this scene actually choreographed too? That's my other question. Because it doesn't look like they had a choreographer, because it's the only 2 actors are dancing.
It was snorreographed. No, I'm sorry. That's my dad joke of the podcast, brought to you by Olympia Beer. Okay, Jordan, is that an appropriate and satisfying way to end a movie like this dance performance? Was that earned? Was the dance performance earned?
Yeah, I don't know. This is not quite the I'm going to dance a jig if I make it to the end of this movie, Last Boy Scout ending. No. It's weird. It looks like a movie that was made years later called Newsies. Like they threw a outtake from Newsies in like right at the end, oddly. Because it's all this old-fashioned dancing and like, yeah, it's just, man, it's like...
I'd rather be watching Newsies.
It's odd at this point to be throwing the dancing in there. It's cute, but it's too cute.
Anyway, so they get this prologue. It's like, so here's what happened.
We buried the keys.
Yeah, we hid the keys. Marlo went looking for a prettier dame, and I went off looking for, Rusty. Don't even get me started, because that other moment was so botched that
Yeah.
now he's going to look for Rusty. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't care. Anyway, that's the end of the movie. You know, class is over.
Sitcom, freeze frame, haha. Yeah, end of the movie.
Somebody does a high fist pump in the air and a freeze at the goalpost. Yes, this is a movie. Yes, this happened. I can't believe we made it, Jordan. This was a very Mystery Science Theater
Yes.
torture session, and I'm very sorry.
This was a tough movie to talk about. It was such a blur to watch, to sit through. I was just like, man, where is this movie going? Yeah. What the hell's happening? Well,
let me ask you this, though. Do you think the idea works? You kind of hinted toward that earlier. If this post-apocalyptic guys from the 1940s going through different decades, stereotype gangs, kind of like this Warriors thing.
It could have worked. I mean, the musical aspect of it didn't lend anything to it. It didn't help it. Mm-hmm. It's buried in music. It's got too much music, and it's like they were trying to sell a soundtrack, and it's got 80s music on top of that. But beyond that, no, it doesn't. I think it could have been done better. I mean, think about it. This is a powerful idea you got. 2 kids that came out of a bomb shelter, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a powerful idea. And it's post-apocalypse. They could come out and it could be anything. You could imagine it any way, technically. Whatever budget dictated, you could imagine it as. It could have been a Cain and Abel kind of tale, or a mice of men kind of tale, of mice and men kind of tale. They could have one brother maybe be more psychotic than the other. Maybe make it like the Craze more.
Or they weren't brothers. They could have been brothers. That would have introduced a different dynamic.
Yeah. I thought they were brothers, or no?
I don't. You know what? I don't know.
But that's the other thing I'm confused about. My God, did these guys kidnap these boys and throw them in the bunker situation? Leave them in there? Is that what's going on here? I'm confused.
Yeah, why did they? We never got that explanation. Like, what happened?
The movie didn't really tell us much on that. Yeah, I'm like, what? Are they orphans?
Are they orphans? Or they're their grandkids? Or
yeah.
Why didn't they ever come back? If these guys...
Where are their actual mother and daddy? Are those their actual daddies? Like granddaddies? Whatever.
What is the story here? And what happened after? Like, if they were running this mutant gang, couldn't they have sent a message back? Like, don't leave, or we love you, or whatever, or something? What is this story? I'm more interested in the rise and fall of the mutant lizard grandpas rather than whatever the hell happens to the kids in the bunker. Like, we're missing a whole movie here.
And if that's the story, that these guys did that to save these kids, that's a powerful story in itself, that they saved these 2 boys. Come on, man.
Yes.
Like, it's missing its purpose there as a movie.
Yeah.
What if these kids came out and were messiahs or something like that? I mean, just all those possibilities. It raises so many questions, right?
Yeah, but we missed the opportunity. The grandpas, the lizard mask grandpas could have said anything. They could literally said anything, and they chose not to say anything. They could have just said, here's the whole story. We were worried if you came out of the bunker that all of this would happen, and we were trying to get the keys so that we could like stabilize this world.
Yeah.
And then come get you and whatever, but now you're here and blah, blah, blah.
We knew your mommy and daddy. They got killed by these government people, whatever. I don't know. Like, your mommy and daddy were killed by government people. We tried to save you before shit got worse. And we left you here. Sorry we had to leave you in this situation to raise yourselves like this, but you did pretty well coming out or something. Something. Goddamn.
And I think they tried to do this, but didn't get pulled off. Like, the grandpas could have tried to save them from Miles.
Yeah.
In a way. Or something like that. Or they saved the grandpas from Miles. You know, like the goons got him and the grandpas with guns, and they try to save them in some way. And any number of things could have happened.
Or they were behind it the whole time, and they were just trying to something like that.
But it comes across like the grandpas are evil, and who gives a fuck? And then why did I just watch this movie? You know what I mean? And it's frustrating, and that's probably why I'm so elevated here.
I agree. It comes off cold the way they left him in the bunker like that, because you don't know who these guys are. We still don't know who they are, even by the end of the movie.
And I don't have any answers. Like earlier in the podcast, we're like, are we getting answers? No, we're not getting any freaking answers.
Yeah.
And I think the audience, if you haven't seen this, then you probably understand how frustrating it is, because that is one of the things that's most frustrating about a film is when you just don't get an explanation.
Yeah. You as the audience are going to be pissed off if you don't get a proper explanation, especially by the end. And that makes the audience go, oh, fuck you, literally to the screen. And I've heard it before in a movie.
This could have been wrapped up in any number of ways because it has an audacious premise. It better have an audacious ending.
Mm-hmm.
There better be a reason I'm sitting through all this weirdness. And
like I said, Trancers did it fucking better. If you want to go post-apocalyptic, so to speak, and do the gumshoe detective with it,
yeah.
Okay, yeah, Trancers was different because it was time travel involved, but the main character comes from the future.
Mm-hmm.
But it still did it better, still kind of, like mixing up the genre a bit like that. Anyway.
Yeah. So could this movie could a remake restore it, or a sequel or a prequel, or I don't know. Should this story be continued in some way?
A remake maybe, but I think it would be a hard sell on an audience nowadays, even in a streaming market, or I don't know. It maybe it'd do okay in the stream market. I don't know.
I think part of the problem is the 40s thing was a little outdated by the 80s.
Oh, yeah. Probably still outdated by now. I mean, kind of where...
Oh, totally by now.
I guess everybody would get it if you did it in a colorful way. And I mean, color, widescreen, all that kind of way.
If they did it the way you said, if they took the story seriously and they really introduced the concept and world built properly as to what 40s detective novel was...
I almost think it's like the filmmakers thought that it was already too dark and they didn't want to go darker with it. And that's, to me, the wrong way they went. They should have gone dark. It's film noir once again.
They should have gone Blade Runner.
Film noir's all dark, man. Yeah, they should have gone Blade Runner. Fuck yeah. I think they were trying to obviously be different from Blade Runner because they're like, we're trying to already look like it, so we don't want to be just like Blade Runner. Or it would have been different from Blade Runner either way.
Yeah. So no sequel? You don't think this deserves a sequel?
Damn. Maybe if it explained everything in the sequel.
I don't think you can. They screwed the pooch pretty much. So the bad, like we mentioned, the story and the script.
Yeah.
Like you said, they don't know what they got here. They don't know what they want to do with this story. They're not confident.
Yeah.
In the subject matter, they're not confident in the...
Regardless of who was in this movie, too, it still could have worked with the actors who were in there already.
Yeah.
Kind of slightly different direction. You could have got a good chunk of scene with Don Murray and George Kennedy. These guys are seasoned actors, man.
Yeah.
You could have got some shit where they were like, I'm sorry, son. I left you in the bunker. I didn't mean to do it.
Jordan, I'd be in tears after this movie because I would have actually gotten something.
Yeah. You have good actors in this scene. Why couldn't it be better?
Yeah. Because the script is terrible. The story's terrible. You get 5 minutes of plot and 85 minutes of running around and gunshots.
And clearly it's a rush production. Clearly the way they shot it, because they clearly didn't take time to address anything with the script.
Yeah, it wants to be a post-apocalyptic warriors, but nobody took an hour and a half and wrote a script for this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They really didn't. And then part of the problem is the universe. Like I said, universe building.
Yeah.
What is a mutant here? There's no universal logic. Like mutants are just people in makeup that dress like they're from a different decade. Why?
Yeah.
Why is this a thing? I don't know. Okay.
Where they just look like a bunch of Kiss extras or something on a Halloween night.
Yeah. But there are good things, I think, about this movie, Jordan. No movie, we like to say here, is all good or all bad.
Right. No movie is always perfect, usually.
Yeah.
There's only a few movies that are perfect.
And only a handful of movies that are so terrible, I think. The music is super 80s, and I hated it at first, but I've grown to like it, to be honest, after hearing the same songs 5 times in the movie.
Yeah.
And every song is the chorus is the name of the song,
Guilty Pleasures.
Guilty Pleasures, Radioactive Dreams. Everything is whatever the song is the title. And like you said, the acting isn't bad. You got freaking George Kennedy here. You got Michael fucking Dudikoff.
I mean, and John Stockwell is a good actor. I'm not.
He is.
I don't want to sound like I'm slamming him. Michael Dudikoff is not a bad actor either. I thought he was great in American Ninja is a better movie, actually.
Classic movie.
He's really good in American Ninja. I don't know how much blow he did when he was doing American Ninja, but he is acting his ass off in that movie as best he can. He's really working his ass off. I could tell. He's working his ass off here too. I think it just direction.
Yeah.
The director should have been like, all right, Michael, just tone it down just a little bit less.
Well, I mean, I don't blame him because I think that's the character. I think in a weird way, he is the most realized version of Marlowe. I mean, this is just who the character is.
But also, he can't be just identical to what John Stockwell's doing, so he had to do something different because they kind of look similar. So
he had to be the silly one, and I mean, maybe he could have toned it down, but that's just, I think that's how the character was written. And I think he leaned in, and I applaud him for leaning in. I just don't like the character, and I don't like the story.
I like that he did something different from, it shows that he has range as an actor, definitely.
Yeah.
That he's not just an action star.
He freaking has range as an actor because he's playing this goofball here, and then he's like freaking American Ninja a couple years later, you know what I mean? Anyway, and Lisa Blount, I think, is actually very good. They give her nothing to do.
And Norbert Weiser as the mutant is effectively creepy. I mean, like,
he's fucked up.
goddamn, is he creepy?
That scene will give me nightmares. That was a real fucked up scene.
He touches him in his bathing suit area. It looks like. I'm sorry.
It's scary. It's the stuff of nightmares.
Yeah.
And that was a weird scene. So it's not all bad. I guess just tighten up. Just start from scratch.
I feel weird saying that too because I messaged Norbert Weiser on Facebook. I friended him. And he knows he's friends with John and Jeannie, actually.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. And
you asked him about Radioactive Dreams?
No, I talked to him I told him how much I loved Android, and he was very, he can only say so much about it. He was just like, oh, thank you. It's a movie I did with my actor friends and from the theater. That was all, And
you're like, what about Radioactive Dreams? He's like, unfriend.
Yeah. I forgot to bring that movie up, though.
Yeah, lots of connections. Yeah, who knew this had Streets of Fire connections, Jordan?
That's interesting, though, because I was thinking about Streets of Fire oddly. I was like, is this movie wannabe Streets of Fire? Is that the deal with this movie?
So, Jordan, did this movie nuke the box office, or did it bomb? On a budget of $3 million asterisk, and just to give a little context, Revenge of the Nerds cost $8 million. Same year, Terminator with Arnold Schwarzenegger cost 6.4, right? So low budget.
Damn, that was even less than Terminator. Shit, and Revenge of the Nerds. Damn,
half of Terminator's budget. We know there was a trip to Hawaii, a giant rat monster in a funky suit for one shot there with Miles.
They were pinching on this movie, I bet.
And drum roll, please. The movie made $220,000 domestic box office.
Ooh. Damn. Ouch.
Because it was like it had a limited release in 90 theaters. So going back to what you were saying about the 84-86 difference, I think this movie sat on the shelf for a couple of years.
I think that's what happened. I mean, funny you brought it up. Same thing happened to Terminator even. It happened to a lot of low-budget movies back then. Where it was shot and done, I think, but it sat on the shelf until like almost, it finally got released at the end of 84. But mind you, it had been shot in like 83, I think, already. But it was just because nobody would release it. But I swear that might have been the case here where they might have shelved it or something.
Yeah. I mean, obviously this is a hard sell. But in the 80s, just lean into it. What the hell? Really, there's problems with the editing. The directing is off. No disrespect to Payune, but it's mostly the script and story. I think there's an idea here, like you said. There's an idea, but it might have been a harder sell to sell a dark, moody, post-apocalyptic detective novel, but it would have made more sense, and maybe it would have been better. I don't know, because the post-apocalyptic genre is always so jokey and silly and weird. You know what I mean? Maybe that's what influenced them. They had to just be ridiculous. And that's what they thought audiences wanted to see. But nobody went to see this, but they kind of weren't given the chance to, I think.
90 theaters, that's a good chunk for 1986, I guess. But
man,
compared to what they would do in the 90s and 2000s later on, I mean, of course. But
but that's not national. That's like, you know what I mean? That's not what you do for a real confident, you release it in 100.
I should say, too, that a movie getting shelved honestly can be for various reasons. It could be for a bunch of different reasons. One, it could be they don't know how to sell it, like you say. Two, it could be they didn't pay the damn lab bill.
Well, this is, I don't know if De Laurentiis Productions, I'd have to look into it more, but it's kind of hard to find information about this movie.
It is. I agree.
Maybe they picked it up. Maybe they bought a lot of stuff. Like, what do you have here? Oh, Radioactive Dreams. It's been sitting here for 2 years. Yeah, we'll take it. We'll give it a shot. Didn't make any money, whatever. But this movie was dropped. It's a weirdo movie, but it does have its fans. it is sort of a cult hit. In fact, this movie influenced a video game later called Wasteland, which itself and this movie were credited to inspire the Fallout video game series and TV series last year. So Radioactive Dreams inspired freaking Fallout?
Huh.
I mean, multi-billion-dollar freaking franchise. I mean, maybe I'm giving it a little too much credit.
Yeah.
But it's kind of significant in that way. I can see how this could be a cult movie. It just misses the mark for me. But there's something there that I could see that people would glom onto. It's just so fucking weird. You know? But it's not weird enough for me. I don't know, in a weird way. Jordan, what kind of rating do you give this fine film?
Oh, man. I'm kind of 5 out of 10 atomic keys, nuclear keys.
Yep.
Because I mean, it's a good idea, but just the execution of it is just, they should have taken it even more seriously than they did. I know it takes a lot to make a movie, but damn, it takes time and money, especially in the 80s. But man,
even in the 80s,
I know, even in the 80s, I feel bad being hard on this movie. Kind of, I feel bad that I don't get it, that I don't understand it better. It almost makes me wonder if I'm getting older because of it, because I look at other movies from this decade still, and even as silly as they are, like a movie like Night of the Comet or whatever, and I still get something out of it still, but I'm just like, this movie, I don't know. I had a hard time getting through this movie, oddly. And I wanted to, anytime you recommend a movie to me, I sit down with an open mind. Don't get me wrong. I feel like I want to appreciate it, but
sometimes movies are like vegetables. You eat vegetables and they're good for you. This helps us understand why some movies like Night of the Comet are better and this movie is not. Night of the Comet explains everything. It's stupid. It's goofy. It leans into that.
Yeah.
Is it a good movie? I'll leave that to people to, I like it. I love it. I actually think it's a great film, but I can see how it has its critics, but it is what it is. It doesn't shy away from that. And it gives you proper explanations.
You know what I think it is, really? I think it's when you cross genres, though. It's just, I'm going to use the word dangerous in film territory. Mm-hmm. When you cross genres sometimes, be it obviously even film noir and post-apocalyptic science fiction.
Yeah.
Crossing all that together, or whether you cross comedy and film noir, whatever.
Yeah.
You really have to think when you cross genres about the limits of the genres you're in.
Yeah, and I think that's a big swing. So you have to have all the other pieces in place. The story has to be tight. The acting has to be good. All these things have to be good so the audience can buy this mixture of genres.
Yeah.
Everything else has to be flawless.
This movie did not just sit down and go, Raymond Chandler in a post-apocalyptic atmosphere. Okay, what am I going to have? I'm going to open with a guy in an office, and yet it's going to look like a Raymond Chandler office, like from a Marlowe story. It's going to be a detective office. However, because it's post-apocalyptic, I'm going to have a post-apocalyptic view outside of his window to set the atmosphere already.
Yeah.
And the thing is also, in a film noir story, like you said, trust no one. You're right. Absolutely right.
Yeah.
A film noir story, you can't trust anybody.
Yeah.
It's a threatening atmosphere in a film noir story. Everything is dark and smoky constantly.
And you're right. Let me give my rating and then I'll add to that. My rating.
Sorry, yeah. And what was your rating? Sorry.
4 out of 5 out of 10 dinosaur rat sewer monsters, just to move it along.
Okay, I got to change
No,
mine
you're
now.
right. I'm going to add to that because here's what I think. I'm feeling very Roger Ebert-y right now for some reason. Like, Gene, you just made a good point. Okay, no, it's not true to its conventions. It just hit me. When you were talking about, I pictured that scene of a guy smoking a cigarette, and then he turns his chair, and you see in the blinds outside is the post-apocalyptic.
Like,
that's a goddamn movie. That's intriguing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if I pitch you Raymond Chandler in a post-apocalyptic atmosphere, I better fucking come on, man. Like, if I said it was like this movie instead of what I just told you, you'd be like, what?
Yeah.
As an investor, you'd be like, what? I don't get it, man. You said
who am I, Dino De Laurentiis? Am I going to buy anything?
Yeah, exactly.
No, but you're right. You have to be true to, if you cross conventions there or across different genres, you have to be true to both of them enough. This movie wasn't true enough.
Meaning you're going to change things, but not too much. You can't deviate too much within those genres that you're messing with.
Yeah.
The only thing you're going to change, if you're going to do Raymond Chandler in a post-apocalypse, what are you going to change? You're just going to change the setting slightly. Like I said, outside the window, outside the Venetian blinds, it's going to have a red sky instead of a normal sky.
Yeah.
It's going to have demolished buildings have been demolished by nuclear waste, whatever. It's going to have a wasteland outside instead of just a normal city setting.
Yeah. And this mutant wasn't being straight with me. You gotta stay true enough to the conventions of that genre of the Raymond Chandler detective novel, noir.
Why didn't they just do that? Why didn't they start with Lisa Blount walking in? And then she walked in. She was beautiful, but I could tell she was trouble. Come on, man.
She had the keys. She had the nuclear keys to my heart. I mean, you can even have fun with it, but stay true to that. And then they weren't true to the post-apocalyptic genre because these quote-unquote mutants are just people in costumes.
Yeah. I'm thinking of a movie. Look at a movie like Sin City. The first one, at least. I haven't seen the sequel, Dames Could Kill or whatever, but the first Sin City knows what it is. It knows very well what it is. But it also sticks to the film noir genre very well, despite the fact that it went unconventional.
And you don't have to read and appreciate the comic to like the movie. And that's one hair off from this. Yeah. You could throw a few mutants in Sin City and it would work still.
Yeah, that's just, anyway.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
The movie doesn't do that, and then we don't care. But again, it has its fans. If you like the silly thing and you like weird-ass movies from the 80s with a good soundtrack, this isn't bad. Michael Dudikoff.
I think Albert Pun did Post-Apocalypse better in his other movie, Cyborg, starring Jean-Claude Van Damme, compared to this one.
Mm-hmm.
Also, what is up with the credits that it says directed by Albert Pun and this other guy? But at the end, it says an Albert Pun film again. I'm confused by that too. Anyway.
Maybe that was part of the problem. Maybe he came in to clean it up. Or maybe somebody came in to clean it up from him.
At the end, it says, a film by Albert Pun and Thomas Karnowski. And then later on, it says produced by Thomas Karnowski. But then at the very, very credit crawl in, after it says copyright 84, it says a film by Albert Pun all over again. Did you notice that? How weird was that?
There's a story here, and it's a story of a troubled production, whatever that is. Well, and I know we'd have to dig much deeper into the history of this, and it's already hard to find things.
Do you wonder if there were two cooks in the kitchen, so to speak, arguing?
I think there were too many.
The way the steak should be cooked.
Yeah. But I think the steak was already a little rotten first, so it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Like, the idea sucks, whatever. Yeah. All right, guys, that has been a way in-depth discussion about Radioactive Dreams. Yeah, so thank you all for listening. We really appreciate it. We hope you've enjoyed this. Listen to some of our other prior episodes, including Streets of Fire, which we talked about a lot in this episode. And so, yeah, if you like this, tell your kids, tell your wife, tell your friends, tell disco mutants that you meet as you walk through an apocalyptic city. Tell that mutant dame that you don't trust exactly, who tried to sell you out to some cannibals. Tell her.
And also, don't lock your kids in a nuclear bunker, okay? Okay, don't leave them there.
Please.
If you're really that worried, stay in there with them, and don't show up later on as a big surprise later on. Deus Ex Machina.
And if you do, please explain what the hell's going on.
Yes, please.
All right, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Push the good buttons. We hope you enjoyed this. And Jordan,
how do we top this? I don't know. How do we top this one? I do not know. Top that. Top that. To quote Teen Witch, top that.
A movie worse than Teen Witch. I said it. Okay.
Teen Witch at least knows what it is. Okay. I can't believe we got to go all cares do cinema and bring Teen Witch into this.
Teen Witch is the Geiger counter for all films. They should be judged against. Okay, Jordan. We're trying a new thing here. So we're going to pick the movie for our next podcast so folks can watch the movie and be ready for the discussion next time.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you 3 movies. You pick one of them.
Okay.
Summertime movies is the category here. Summer Rental, Wet Hot American Summer, One Crazy Summer.
God, I guess I'll have to go for Wet Hot American Summer. I've never seen that one.
Oh, really? You've never seen Wet Hot American Summer?
Never seen that one. I feel like I've seen the other two, though, at least at some point, yeah.
Okay. Well, all right, everyone. So watch Wet Hot American Summer. That'll be our next episode, and we'll see what Jordan thinks about it.
Okay. All right. This will be interesting.
Okay, Jordan, this has been...
The Robots Took My Podcast. Hey, we're a bunch of private dicks, aren't we, Anthony?
All trailers, clips, music, or any other copyrighted material are used sparingly, edited from their original forms, and used for the purposes of criticism, discussion, commentary, and education about these fine films.